And good afternoon, and welcome to Straight Talk. This is your Drive at 5 show. I am your host, Catherine Tyson. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. This is Wellness Wednesdays, and you know, on Wednesdays, we try to talk about stuff that will keep you well. Mind, body, spirit, everything, soul. Lots happening in this country. Just got some announcements just now, which I tell you, I guess they were all buzzing about that. But quite interesting. There will be yeah, an early election. Just immediate release, a dissolution of parliament, and early elections. Can you imagine that? So, because of all the shakeup, it's going to be some more shakeup. So, yep, just keep tuned for that kind of stuff. And you know, that's going to be like that hot topic. But welcome, welcome, welcome to the show. We're still going to keep doing what we're doing over here on Wellness Wednesdays, and that is to just keep you well, keep you feeling good. You know, I have this Thursday's show, which is Success 101, right? And I bring in young Caymanians that are successful, that are doing great things in the country, and so very proud of them, just so we can dispel the thought that Caymanian people are not doing great things. They actually are, and we want to highlight them. So that's what we do on Thursdays. But you know, I got this harebrained idea, which was quite interesting, that maybe I could find some older people too and highlight them. How about that? Because you know what? We can't do it on our own, right? And so I thought, let's do that. And my Wellness Wednesday, my first guest that I decided to bring on is Sergeant George Fullerton. I'm gonna call him Sergeant because he was my sergeant when I was in the police force. So just happy that I was able to grab Sergeant Fullerton. He's Mr. George Fullerton. He's an LLB. He spent 29 years with distinction in the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. He was 21 years as a trainer. I mean, it's just an illustrious, as they would say, an illustrious career that he's had. Also, was able to finish law school and get a Bachelor of Law in honors, no doubt, a trainer for 17 years with the police service, and happened to train me. I think the graduating class that year was 1986. So,
Yes.
you know, just want to go ahead and welcome Sergeant Fullerton, or Mr. George Fullerton. Pull
Good
that mic
afternoon.
close to you so we can hear you talk. Pull that close to you, or you got to talk into it,
Good
right?
afternoon
Good
to your
afternoon.
listening audience and yourself. Very
Yeah,
good.
absolutely. We're just so glad that you were able to come on out and talk with us this afternoon. Before we start, just wanted a couple of announcements. First of all, happy birthday, David Lee Tyson Jr. That happens to be my firstborn child. Today is his birthday. Happy birthday to you. You're amazing. You've always been amazing, and thank you for letting me be your mom. And I'm just so happy to be spending another birthday with you, and I wish you love and peace and joy and everything that your heart and hands can hold. And thank you for being such an amazing human being. That is for David Tyson. That is my son. Happy, happy, happy
Yes.
birthday. So
I
very
wish
happy to wish
happy
him that.
birthday for him.
Thank you so much, uh, Sergeant. I'm calling you Sergeant. I'm just gonna call you Sergeant Fulton. Forget about it, right?
Yes.
So another announcement I have: commencement at the University College of the Cayman Islands is being moved to spring, in line with more traditional practices in other countries. The spring date will allow graduating students to be a part of the university celebration of their accomplishments. UCCI's 2021 commencement ceremony will be on Saturday, the 24th of April, 2021, at 7:30 p.m. at the Sir Vassal Johnson Hall. Application deadline Friday, the 12th of March, 2021, for all the information on commencement 2021 and to access the graduation form. Visit www.ucci.edu.ky/graduation. So you know that you finished everything that you needed to finish and you want to walk in that graduation. This is what you need to be doing. Okay, it's going to be moved to spring, and just allowing everybody to graduate that has all their passes or has all their credits and everything. So go to www.ucci.edu.ky/graduation and get on that list. Just in line for what I wanted to talk about today. I think it's just to I'm constantly talking about ushering the young people into the new era. I just wanted to read something I found that really just kind of relates to that. It gets you thinking of the future and the world that the current generation in their early and late 20s will have to lead in the coming 2 decades, right? Without a doubt, the outgoing generation is on the brink of handing over the baton to future generations, or as I would say, should be ready to do that. But is it really a world that future prime ministers and presidents and people sitting now in college classes will have the ability to change for the better? So the older people, we need to recognize that we have to leave it in good hands in order for them to not have too much work, because are they going to be able to change it for the better? So be very careful, walk placidly, walk gently, take care of the earth, take care of everything, so that these young people can have something to save or something to be proud of and ushering. We're living in a society where the world belongs to the young. Our world's children are grabbing high office at high age compared to decades gone by, and they are unequipped to deal with today's challenges. Where the world currently stands, the opportunity is there to usher in a new era of responsibility and politics, because the next batch of leaders are currently studying at universities and colleges throughout the world, or they're at their starter jobs, and that change can only start with the future leaders. So change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. It's an almighty task, but it must be done. And we cannot do it alone. We have to hold hands, the older and the younger, and usher everybody into that next phase, right? Sergeant Fullerton, I stalked you on Facebook, as they say, and
Yes.
what I saw was, until the philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everything is war.
Yes.
Mise war. That
Yes.
until they're no longer first class and second citizens of any nation, until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance than the color of his eyes, mise war.
Yes.
That until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, mise war.
Yes.
And that was from Mr. Robert Nesta Marley.
Yes. Yes.
And I saw that on your page, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to ask him about that.
Yes.
I love that. What
Yeah.
does that represent for you?
It's a great philosophy, and it's what today's leaders have to realize. The movers in society. Uh, right.
Oh, keep
Oh,
talking.
okay.
Keep talking.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Go ahead. Talk.
The leaders, the movers and shakers in leadership have to realize that saying by the Honorable Robert Nesta Marley is becoming more relevant every day. We have seen it played out in various countries. Equality. People are crying out for equality, justice, and acceptance, not based on the color of their skin or the color of their eyes. Oh, I like to talk about old people, or whether you're old or young, and people have to be treated that way. Otherwise, there will be conflicts. Basically, on what Mr. Robert Nesta Marley said, this statement have been accepted and repeated around the world. And we have seen what in very near us what has happened when one set of people is set aside because of the color of their skin or their religion or whatever. We have seen it near us. So it is playing out.
Absolutely. And you're right. Equality is so important, right? Regardless of anything. Now, you and I go way back.
Way, way back.
Way back. It was so funny because when Sergeant Fullerton came through the door, we were, talking a little bit before the show, and he gave me some pictures of me when I had graduated with
Yes.
with the training class with the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service. A lot of people might not know that I actually was a constable at the time, they
Sure.
called it, right?
Sure it was.
And I was in the graduating class of 1986.
Yes.
And you were one of the trainers, and you were kind of our book trainer,
Yes.
right? Because we
Yeah.
had a few. We had some. I think Sergeant Franklin was doing
In the drill.
the
and
parades stuff, right?
yes, and physical
And
training.
physical, and you were doing the book stuff, and I did much better with the book stuff
Yes,
for
yes.
sure. And we were talking about that, but it was funny because Sergeant Fullerton was like, I always think of you as this slim girl from this day, but it's
Yes.
just now that I see you that I realize it's not the slim girl. So I said, hold on a second
I
now.
couldn't place you. I couldn't place you. I'm looking at you as you were in 1980s. Every time I remember you,
Right,
I'm thinking of you at fifth floor tower building
right,
in 1986.
right.
Yes.
Very different.
I know it's different, but my mind is just saying, this is how Catherine is.
Of course, of course. And I think I've even like lightened up over the years because remember when we were on
Oh, yes.
parade every day.
Yeah.
So it was like the sun and I definitely can't wear that uniform anymore. That's for
And I have
sure.
lightened up quite a bit.
Yeah,
I
of
was
course.
really serious when I was in classroom.
Of course,
I
of
look at
course.
the watch and so on. What time we're gonna reach? What time is for PE?
Oh, you were very
Sergeant
serious.
Franklin is waiting
Oh,
downstairs.
you were very serious. You and Sergeant Franklin. I don't know how we got through that. It was crazy, but
Yes,
there was still a lot of love. I remember that. And
yes,
one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on, I wanted to talk about just the fact you're retired, right? And
yes,
you really do have a great career. Very proud of the 29
yes,
years that you spent with the
yes, yes,
police service, as well as all the things you've done after that. But
yes,
I wanted to talk about the trends and the changing stuff that I see with the police force. Like, I think there was a complaint maybe within like 10 years that the police force in Cayman or the police service in Cayman wasn't as local as people would like it to be. And I'm starting
yes,
to see it becoming a
yes,
little more
yes, yes,
localized. Let's talk
yes.
about that a little bit.
I've seen there has been quite a change in trend. I have seen local recruits pass through our training, like from tower building days, and they are next to the commissioner, sitting next to the commissioner, and other more than one. I'm talking about one, but they are up. They are going up, and the local people are getting employed in the police.
Very good.
You know,
Yeah.
and I remember we used to go and try to encourage people to join the police back in those days, back in the early days, and we used to get a lot of resistance. You know, so we had to take either send to England or somebody from the Caribbean, but we never used to get the response for recruiting. But it's very pleasing to see how it has turned out. People are passing promotion exam. They are getting. I feel my head swelling when I look at my former recruits way up in the top.
Right.
Right now, one of them is in charge of the Brock police station.
And she was from my class.
Yes, oh
That would be
yes, it was from.
Inspector Wendy Parchment. Yeah,
Yes,
it was
yes,
three. It was three girls in that class. It was
yes.
me, Imelda Dixon, and Wendy Parchment.
You couldn't get between the three of you.
Oh, it was amazing. It was
Yes,
amazing. It was a family. I really, really remember that
yes,
time in my
yes.
life. And it's such a noble career. It's such a great
Oh
career. I talk
yes,
to young people all the time about it to join the police force.
oh
It is,
yes,
or it's police service, but join the police service. It's such a great career, and it is a career. You
yes,
can
and
grow and
you can
just
expand.
advance. Yeah,
You get a broader perspective on human relation.
right.
You come into the police, and you are an example that you could move out to other areas. And I've seen a couple move out to become attorneys.
Right,
Like four or five, they started as
right,
constable.
right,
They are attorneys now.
right.
So you can move from there. You get the basic experience, and you get a broader experience when dealing with human beings.
Absolutely.
And
I mean, I thought I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought I'd stay
yeah,
forever, and make my career there. But some things kind of happened in my life at the time that
yes,
that shifted me and moved me, and it ended up moving me to the U.S. And
I
I was
didn't even
there for about
realize
12
when you were
years.
gone. See,
Yes,
she left.
yeah, yeah. It was one of those things. But I think I was very young. I think
Yes,
too young. I was 18. I think my mom must have moved to the States, and so my support system was
oh,
non-existent at that point. And I think that when you are young, you do need a support system because you feel
the
like you're grown, but you just got out of high school, and then your mom's gone. So I think that I ended up following her. I ended up
Yes.
following her to the States about a year after, and then things just went different for me. And I'm thankful for the opportunity, but I'm also thankful in the direction that it went, because I ended up doing social work and
Yes.
psychology. So I'm still with human services, love people, but that time in my life was very, very much a foundation for me. So I always encourage young people to, look at the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, look at that as a career, because it is really, really a great
Yes.
opportunity.
Yes.
Yes, I think
Give
so.
you a foundation.
And people like yourself,
Yeah.
who I always remember just, being there for us, being father figures for us,
Yes.
being mentors for us. I always remember, like I have a couple of people that I remember, like you and Claude Bailey, who's my math teacher, right?
Yes.
These two men that were very much, kind of examples of decency and, decent humanness, and just good, just good to the core. So thank you for that, and thank you for
Yeah.
touching all the lives that you
You're
have touched.
welcome.
Because for
I'm
21 years as a trainer, that's quite a long time.
Yes, yes. And I'm very pleased. I'm very pleased. You're one of the people in my back from those days. I'm very pleased about. You
Yeah.
have expanded yourself, and I have this idea that you can do whatever you think you can do
Oh,
if you
wow.
really want to
Oh,
do it.
thank you. Thank you.
Yes,
Because you know what? It does start in the mind. You and I were talking about that right before
yes,
we came on. Just tell us that philosophy, where it begins, in order for you to feel like you can achieve something.
yes. The saying is from the book Success by Positive Mental Attitude. It came from a gentleman called W. Clement Stone. And what Mr. Stone said is, whatever the mind of man can think and believe, it can achieve.
Wow. Yep.
So it starts in the mind.
Yeah. I found this quote on your Facebook, from Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich. We
Yes,
become what we think about. So
yes,
whatever our focus is what we're actually like manifesting then,
yeah,
or actualizing, right?
yes.
Yeah.
And Napoleon Hill himself was a mentor for W. Clement Stone.
Oh, there you
Yes,
go. Okay. So yeah, I saw that and I thought, wow, that is really, really the truth, that whatever we're focusing on, and I say this all the time to young people, don't ever think that anything is beyond your reach. Anything you can think about, anything that you think that you'd want to do, all you have to then look at is what do you need to do to achieve that,
yes,
and make a decision whether or not you want to complete those steps. Because if you don't want to complete those steps, that's different. But don't knock yourself out before, by saying, "Oh, I can't
you
do it.
can't
Oh,
do
it's
it.
impossible." It absolutely is not. Because what did you say before we came on? What was just a thought and now it actually exists? What were one of the things you mentioned?
Say, thoughts are things.
Right.
And this comes from Napoleon Hill in his book. Because the greatest skyscrapers, the Empire State Building, the Eiffel Tower, they were once thoughts
Wow.
that were developed
Wow.
by the Creator. You see, God is our Creator. He created us, and He gave us the power to create.
Right.
So we have that in it.
Absolutely. Thoughts are things. Everything began as a thought and
Yes,
it became a thing.
yes,
So there's nothing that you can think that is impossible,
right.
actually. Yeah, that is so very important. I'm also looked at, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single
Single
step.
step.
That's one of your philosophies as well,
Yes,
right?
yes,
And if some don't start small and continue walking every day, they'll never reach a future goal.
right.
Yeah,
And you can think of anything that can be applied to. If it's to become a great athlete, you have to start from the beginning,
right,
and you have to practice conscientiously every day. You take those steps, and you will reach the top. If you follow the life of some very successful people, this is the way they pattern their lives.
right. Absolutely. So What are some of the things that you call yourself an older guy? Yeah. What,
Yes,
what are some of the things that you think that this older guy has learned about his youth? Is this something that you might change? Is there some advice that you might want to give somebody?
yes. One of the things that this old guy is, his mind is always open for new information. Therefore, if a radio house should say, lighten up on some of the things that you are doing, lighten up, then I would accept that readily, and I have accepted that. And I say that if you want to do something as a young person, you badly want to do it, you can achieve it. I advise to write down the thing that you want to do, that you are going to concentrate on. Write it down in a book or on a piece of paper. Paste it on your mirror in your bathroom. Every morning you will see, this is what I want to do. And then you can design the steps. The subconscious mind is a great door, and it will lead you to succeed.
Right. I
Yes.
absolutely agree with that. I agree that you put it somewhere where you can see it so you
Yeah.
don't forget it.
Yes.
Yes, for
And
sure.
and I'm really, when I was a youth, I wasn't thinking about on those terms. But I realized that even in middle age, when I got onto those philosophies and I hold on to them, they get me somewhere.
Right.
And I always try to give it to somebody else.
Right. I remember when my children were small, I'd actually write them in the calendar. Like I'd write them on my desk, like my
Yes.
little book that I opened up, and I'd write down, don't forget to take Katie to this thing. And so one day she was about 6 and she could read, and she said,
Yeah.
"Why do you have me in your calendar? You're not going to remember me or what?" And I said, "I have you in my calendar so I don't forget."
Yes. Yes.
And so she just thought like,
Keep.
yeah, she's like, you have me in here, but don't you remember me? And I said, no, it's not that I don't remember you, it's that I don't want to forget.
Right.
So that's how important you are, because all of the important things I have written down for me to remember.
Yes.
So I don't want to not have you written down in here, and I forget that I had to take you to do this afternoon, or that you and I were going to hang out, or you and I were going to read a book. And so she's just looking at me. I just remember her being 6 years old and looking at me and, what are you doing? But it's like putting that thing in your face where you will see it. You
Yes.
will not forget it. So that's the same thing with your dreams. You
Yes.
you have your dreams, hold on to
In
them
your face. It is in your
in your
face.
face,
Yes.
in your face. Absolutely. And it's very funny because you always compliment me on my daughter. You always you were looking out for
Oh
her. You
yes.
you knew she was
I see
entering this
success across
pageant.
her every time I see her.
Yes.
It's success across her.
Yeah,
You
yes.
know.
And so she's that reminder of that young thin girl that you remember
Yes.
from the
Yes.
80s.
Yes. She's you. Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly, but definitely, and the dreams, and when we see our young people and the dreams that they are achieving, we know that it's just the work that needs to go into it. And the older people, I think it's older people's responsibility to encourage them, to
Yes.
motivate them, to mentor them, but to
Yes.
help them also. Like,
Yes.
what that's your job. That's our job, to try to help a younger person achieve their goals. Because
Okay.
one
Yes.
thing I very very big on is that I don't like when older people try to hold on to everything as if it's a secret. Oh, and then if you pass through this earth, you take it with you.
No, you
No, you
let
need
go.
to share
Share
it.
it. Whatever you get, share it.
Absolutely, you need to share it. You have
Yes.
all of this wealth of knowledge, and I don't like the arrogance of the youth that thinks that they know everything. It absolutely is not that way. Of course, someone who's been around 20, 30, 40, 50 years more than you might have some information that you don't have.
Oh
How do
yeah.
you work together to ensure that we're maximizing that?
Yes. And pick their brains while they are alive. Don't wait until they are gone.
Right.
If you, it's a treasure having an older person. You can learn from that person something that you cannot learn from a book, or you might just read in a book, and that older person have experienced that personally, and could pass on that experience too.
Absolutely. And I think that's why you look so good, you look so strong still. Your brain is active every day. You're learning, you're reading, you're feeding yourself, and you look like, you're enjoying this phase of your life, which is
Yes,
very important.
yes, I absorb a lot of information, and when I can't do it anymore, I sit on the chair in the garden like this,
Okay.
you know.
Just chill out.
Yeah.
Let it process. You had another thing on your Facebook that I will say right before we go to break, and we'll be back with more. Life is love. Enjoy it.
Yes.
Life is challenge. Meet it.
Yes.
Life is a song. Sing it.
Yes.
Life is a dream. Realize it.
Yes.
Life is a game. Play it. Life is a goal. Achieve
Achieve it.
it.
Yeah.
And that was found on Sergeant George Fullerton's Facebook, because I was just stalking him. I was just going on there and just feeding my brain all this stuff. And wanted to bring you on Wellness Wednesdays just to encourage the listeners. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. We will be taking a quick break, but we'll be back with more with Sergeant George Fullerton, who spent 29 distinctive years with the Royal Cayman Islands Police Service, 21 of those years as a trainer. And and before that, and we'll talk a little bit before that, before you came here and you gave that to us, just
Yeah,
to kind of talk
Jamaican
about that.
constabulary.
Exactly,
Yes.
right? So we'll be back with more. Stay tuned.
Yes.
943-3700.
Second.
Wall Street
supposed to be here because I was doing research in the library
Okay.
of the police academy, and there was this bit of paper inside, quit out, and the name of a certain police officer was on it, a senior officer who was in charge of training,
Okay.
and the address of training. Why it was there, I don't know. But I took it home and made an application. And then the gentleman came out to interview me. And that was the story. And I came right into training. He said, "We are looking for a trainer.
Oh, okay.
And you are the right man for it."
Okay. So you basically started with training then,
Yes.
and then you took a little break for a moment, but mostly your career was in training.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So
Okay.
that is 4 more years.
So so you always been a book guy then. You're that book. Okay.
Yes.
And so
You were going to say something. Be a legal secretary and got LLBs too.
oh wow.
What?
Nice.
And I remember one went to the United States and got his LLB. Of Manchester in the United States. And then another year they would be doing the stuff that legal secretaries do,
Okay.
typing and the office discipline and so on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Kind of an introductory course, but the knowledge in
Yes.
because I
Yeah.
remember that. I remember training when we
Oh
like
yes.
that too.
Mhm.
Very direction that I went into,
Yes.
and it's also another right balance. It's the balance.
Yes.
And that's the thing people don't know about social work. I think people think that social work is just for quote unquote poor people. It's not. Social work is
No.
for everybody. It's for
Everybody.
every single member of
Everybody.
society. It creates a balance. So the
Yes.
eyes of a social worker or the standpoint of a social worker is to ensure that every single person in society is okay. So the
Yes.
rich aren't are definitely advocated for from social work. So
Yes.
people get that impression that social workers only try to give people this and give poor people and no, it's everybody.
Everybody.
I have been in rich people's houses because their children were driving without, under the influence or they were abusing their children somehow, physical abuse. I've had to write reports on these things. So social work is just really about the balance. That's what I
Yeah.
I love that. And still, one thing we know for sure, if we just stand still, we're not going to move.
No, we're not.
So
We might get more bitten by the mosquitoes
yeah,
than
so
anything.
if you want to move, you want movement, you're gonna have to take that first step.
Yes.
And there are the times to be still, but life is really about movement.
Yes.
Now, you also had a quote on your Facebook that I saw, and it said, "Things are going to change for the better here in 2022." I love that.
Sincerely believe in that.
Oh my
Because when you
goodness!
hear about COVID, you feel like, what happened? The human race is condemned?
Right.
No, I don't think so. I think that we're going to look back. It's going to be a learning situation,
I
a
love that.
history. Yeah.
I love the hope of it all. I
Yes.
love the positivity of it all. I love the momentariness of it all,
Yes.
right? Because every single thing is one thing that we're sure of is what say one thing that's constant is change. That's the only thing that's constant is
Yes.
change.
Yes.
So things are always going to be moving and they're
Moving.
not going to be the same, but
Yes.
it's how you sustain yourself during the movement,
Yes.
how you sustain your breath, your mind, your behavior, right? Because regardless of what's happening, if you're apart or you're collaborating or you're not handling it the way that
No.
that the universe expects you to handle it,
No.
right? So that I love that because
Yes.
I love to be able to look back and say, listen, this is just something.
Momentary.
Because it was something 10 years ago, it was
Yes.
something 10 years before that or 5 years before that, and there will be something again.
And they used to say, this too will pass.
And this too shall pass.
Yes.
And yes, it shall, and it has been, and it's passing.
Yes.
Because right now we're in a different situation than we were last year this time.
Yes. Last year we
So
were flustered.
yeah, so last year
Everybody.
this time was very interesting, and then a few months after that, and now look at us, look at us, right? Then there's another thing that you said on Facebook. I get noticed when I used to teach Sunday school and preach sometimes, but I've not done so in a while. I look over old pictures of my former police recruits and see how some have advanced and some have shamed me. But
Yes.
in hot summer, I read under my beloved breadfruit tree, enjoying the east wind.
Oh, yes.
That is your retirement statement.
Yeah.
Look at me. This is what I'm doing, and I'm fine.
Yes.
Yes. So what keeps you busy?
What keep me busy? I do a lot of reading. I find a little time to dip into the Caribbean Sea sometime early morning. Sometimes I don't want to get up.
Okay. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But when I do get up,
It's lovely.
it's lovely.
It's
Yes.
lovely. So you
Yes.
sleep until what time then?
Sometimes when I'm going to walk, I wake up at 6 o'clock.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
When when I'm going to sleep, I really sleep. Sometimes I'm waking up at 8.
Oh.
And if I have an appointment, the clock, I will have to set it on the clock because I will be sleeping away.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when you say wake up late, that means that you'd like to go to the beach
Yeah.
earlier than eight
Yes.
o'clock,
Yes.
because that's the better time to go, huh?
Yes. And if you walk and you're all sweaty, it's just nice to get into the water.
Okay, so you
Yes.
walk to the beach?
I used to, but nowadays I drive.
You drive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
And so you end up bumping into a lot of people. There are a couple people that have retired at the same time as you that you kind of keep up with as well.
yes, mostly in my age group, and I believe the younger ones are waiting until the sun comes up.
Oh, you'll find them there at the beach. Then you're
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Some of them have been in South Church Street, and they have the same idea like me. Go and get a dip in the sea.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
So tell me, how are you feeling at this in this stage of your life?
In this stage of my life, I'm feeling good because I like to see society run real good,
Right,
and I believe we have done well in the Cayman Islands comparing to some places that I have seen.
right.
But we have to keep it that way and make sure that and let it decline. That's very important to me.
Right.
In my church, I participate. I used to teach Sunday school, but these days I leave it to the younger ones.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I preach sometimes.
Yeah, you still do
Yeah,
that?
yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes.
All right. So when you look back at the tapestry of your life, how do you feel? I mean, it was a full life. It was a whole lot that you did. Like
Yes,
the tapestry of your career life, because right now you're in a different phase of your life. So
yes.
you're almost like sitting back and enjoying the fruit of your labor.
I
How do you
see.
feel?
I see a curve going up, not too steep, but going up. And I've always enjoyed whatever I put my mind to. And then now I believe the curve is start kind of leveling off.
Okay.
And I'm mostly enjoying what I enjoy.
Okay.
And when I meet up anybody, I always have, especially young people, I give them some positive advice. Never let negative people um, advise you, poison your way onwards. Don't tell the person that they cannot do it. Don't tell the child that you're not going to amount to anything. You're actually doing them a disservice by saying that. And if you are intending on doing something like what I say, what the mind of man can think and believe, he can achieve.
Okay.
But if you make somebody put a negative thought in your mind, that probably distract you. So sometimes your idea should be a secret to yourself. But the negative eagles will come and pick it out.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. The negative eagles.
Yes.
Wow. Look at
Come
that.
and pick it out.
So, what do you think keeps you healthy? What has kept you healthy? What were some of the things that you did, you think, in your younger life that's kept you healthy?
I exercise a lot. I mean, I used to exercise a lot until a couple of years. You couldn't find me the Truman Band track without me one morning.
Okay.
And I was doing, at 65, I was doing quarter marathon
Wow. Okay.
and and 2K, 5K in the morning. And then myself and another 6 year old would be up there. And I remember a special morning, I let one pass me, and we were near to the beach down there, just a little bit like that. And I zip past him, and he said, "Oh, you are good. You are good."
Okay.
Yeah,
All
we used
right.
to do a lot of that. I do exercise and I try to eat right.
Okay.
Vegetable is very important to
Well,
me.
that's what I was going to ask you next. What does your diet look like? What do you eat?
I like to have a good meal in the morning,
Okay.
a lighter one at 12 midday,
Uh-huh.
and the lightest one in the
Oh,
evening.
wow. That's
Yeah,
exactly what they say. There's this thing I had read. It said you should eat like a king,
in the
eat
morning.
no, eat breakfast like a king,
Uh-huh.
lunch like a prince,
And
and supper like a pauper.
yes, yes.
So
And
you're, yeah, just in the order that you said.
that is one of my new thing that I learned because I never shut my door to learning. I saw that somewhere, and I
Okay.
decided to
Okay.
adapt it and use it as my own.
So do you cook?
I just finished cooking some curry goat as I before I come here.
Okay.
Yes, yes, I
All
cook.
right. So what are some of the things that you do eat then? You said vegetables like what?
Then tomato, lettuce, cucumber, um, and a lot of fruit.
And not a
Mm,
lot of dressing on that lettuce. You
not a
know,
lot of
people
dressing.
like
I look the
the nice
special type
dressing.
of dressing,
Okay.
the light type of dressing I put in it. You
Okay.
can overdo, and that can become a disadvantage.
Yeah. Because I
Yeah.
remember also many years ago when we were training, and this is a long time ago. I remember you not being like this person that would eat a whole big
No,
meal.
no.
Yeah, I remember that. Like we were
Yeah.
always like, "You're not hungry? You sure? When you going to?" No, I'm going to eat my dinner later.
Yes,
You know.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
That's I
So
see.
that's something you adopted for yourself, and it also um, it is it kind of kept your body in within a good weight range as
Yes,
well, which is
yes,
important as we get older.
yes. It's very important, you know.
Yeah, because the weight tends to find us. I don't know. We're walking, minding our business, and somewhere around the corner, they're
Yes.
just ladies. The stuff just jumps out and jumps on our hips, and it jumps on our butt. I don't know where it's coming from.
And then it
It's
jump and
wicked. It's
yeah,
wicked.
it's looking for you. It's looking for you.
Yes, it is.
Yes, and it just pounce on you, and that's it.
So we have to
And
be
you
so
wonder,
careful.
the weight and sometime the time this morning I was comparing them. Time is something that will deceive you.
Yeah,
You cannot put it in a bottle,
right. No,
and if you are not careful,
you can't save it.
it will leave you behind.
Yeah,
Yes, and I noticed that.
and it keeps going, doesn't it?
Yes, when my son used to go to the Georgetown Primary School, and I used to pick them up, and when I remember them, I tend to remember them in their little plaid shirt like that, and then this is somebody's a big government official, and I called my name, and I said, "Do I know you?" I
Wow,
said, "Oh, you don't remember? I go to school with your son, and
wow.
one time you picked me up it, and then
Yeah,
I started." So time is very, and when you say success, and I said about the journey of 1,000 miles begin with a single step.
right.
Time is very important to start because if you wait 5 years, 10 years, you could defeat your long-term
Yeah,
purpose. Yeah.
absolutely. Well, I taught a class today, and one of the ladies I don't remember. So I asked her how her son, and
Yes.
she pointed to this one, and I was asking her about a son that was in her belly,
Yes.
and he was sitting next to her as a big man.
That's good. That's a
I
good.
said, "What? That is the one." She said,
That's a
this is
good one.
this is the baby."
Yes.
And I thought, where did 18 or 19 years go? It just flew by
Yes. You
because
look
it
at
does. It doesn't wait on you.
the little sun was hanging on to the hand like that, and when I look at him now, I have to.
He's on now.
Yes. Yes.
And you have two sons, right?
Yes.
Okay. And so what are they doing?
One is living in the States now, and the younger one is here. He has come along with a gift for him. I said, "What is that gift?" I put a reference Bible in his hand.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So I think that was one of the best gifts I could give him at that time.
That's
And
good. That's good.
he never forget me. At Christmas time, when I don't even remember anything about the um, birthday, I hear him knocking on my door. I look out and say, "Oh, you bring something for me." I said, he's like,
When's your birthday?
"My birthday is on the 18th of May."
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. All right. Well, good. Good stuff.
I don't have to remind him about that. And he's
Oh,
we used to go out for dinner,
yeah.
but since COVID came, we don't go out for dinner anymore. In society, what happened to one of us affect.
You got to save all of us, right?
Yes,
That's what's really
not even the area where I live. I was the first person ever lived in that area.
oh really?
And when it's the time and when I look about, you can't find a little empty spot.
Oh, it's a hot spot.
Yes,
Lots of apartments too.
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah.
In just a short time. Oh, what I call a short time.
Right.
Because sometimes I look at it and say, oh, that is just yesterday, but it's really
20
a
years.
long time.
Exactly.
Yes,
Time just goes. And
yes.
so the other son is in what part of the US?
He's in Miami.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
not too far.
No, no.
Not far, but well, thank you so much for coming out and chatting with me this afternoon. I hope that you guys enjoyed this conversation, the listeners, because let me tell you, we really have to embrace our older society as well as we try to usher in the younger ones. We need all of us. We need all of us to win. We need all of us to get without it. So for us to become unified and take that approach, this is the time for it. We've all kind of suffered through this pandemic that's affected all of us, regardless of what we think about it or where the origination of it is or where it's going to go. We're all in it, so we
Together.
have
We're all
yeah.
in it
So
together.
we have to get through it together.
Yes.
You know,
Yeah.
another quote that I will try to end this show on today. You said, "Okay, I will come. I will come to this interview with you, Catherine, but I will come empty, and I will expect to be filled when I come."
Oh, yes, that's it.
So
Um,
I want to know. This was their message to me. I want to know, what did you expect to come and get filled with? Because you are filled with everything. That's what your role was,
I was
which you
looking for
have.
information. I said, sometimes we used to go out for dinner. Sometimes neighbor invite us out for dinner, and you say, something able to. And
Yeah.
it's nice seeing you.
You are the
You know.
same. You are the same. I know I'm a little different, but you are the same man that I knew in 1986.
Yes.
And I wish you love and I wish you good health and good feelings and peace and joy and everything for 100 years to come.
Yes. I thank you for inviting me here, and it's nice talking to you. And it's refreshing. It's something different from what a retiree would be doing.
Right. Okay. Well, I
Yes.
tell you what, a retiree like you does not need to be sitting down under a breadfruit tree
Yes. Yeah.
every day. You
Right.
got too much knowledge that you have left to share with us, and we need to share the ones that are just coming up. They need it. They need to hear it. Thank you so much for joining me this
Thank you.
afternoon, and thank you guys so much for joining me on all right. You can stand. Please stand here. Watch out for that. If I can fit.
from the